No fear, Alicia is not here, but I am Adam Hunter. I am in the seat just for today. Oh, every day there are new people coming to our country in pursuit of a better life, but does reality meet that dream? A recent study by CBC and Polara found that 54% of those surveyed immigrants said it was difficult finding a job in their field. Just over 15% reported their credentials or academic degrees weren't recognized here in Canada. And that's something that resonates with Ashutosh Patel. He came to Saskatoon in 2019 under the Saskatchewan Immigrant Nominee Program. He told CBC he's seen professionals in the tech industry struggling to find work in their province.
Software engineers, right? Software developers people, they are not getting easy to get the job over here in Saskatchewan. Mm-hmm. Then after they figure it out, they give them so many interviews or they are waiting for the interviews, but they are not selected up to 3 months, right? Then they change the city.
Now, today on Blue Sky, we're checking in on recent immigrants to this province. We'll have a discussion about the challenges in finding meaningful work in their field. And we'll find out what programs are most helpful in helping people make connections in a province that is very much who you know. If you have immigrated to Saskatchewan in the last 10 years, we'd love to hear from you. Join the conversation by calling us 1-800-716-2221 or email bluesky@cbc.ca. Every immigrant has their own journey to settling into their new life in Canada. Some of the common experiences are trying to find the appropriate and affordable housing, trying to find a meaningful job in your field, and adjusting to a new culture. Today we have a cross-section of experiences that will help listeners understand what it's like to be a recent immigrant to Saskatchewan. Some of our guests are still in the process of finding employment. Others went through their own journeys and are now helping newcomers settle into life here. In our Regina studio, I'm joined by Alina Shailan. She's originally from Ukraine, and she's currently finishing the Career Enhancement Program through a Sask Polytechnic. Good afternoon, Alina.
Good afternoon.
We also have Tanya Jahan, who is originally from Bangladesh. She is completing her grad studies in public administration at the U of R, and her family recently moved to Regina from Vancouver. Good afternoon, Tanya.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Adam.
What's up? Busayo Olufayo, I'll get that right, Busayo, who's originally from Nigeria. He's been in Regina for 2 years and is now working as an employment counselor through the Regina Open Door Society. Good afternoon, Busayo.
Good afternoon, everyone.
And we also have on Google Meet here from Estevan is OJ Javier. He's originally from the Philippines. He's now a settlement advisor for Southeast Advocates in the city of Estevan. Welcome to Blue Sky, OJ.
Hello, Adam. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. So as I mentioned to our guests here, CBC recently commissioned a poll of people who had immigrated to Canada in the last 10 years. More than 80% of newcomers to Canada feel the country is bringing in too many immigrants without the proper planning for adequate housing or having sufficient job opportunities. I'm curious to get your takes on this. Alina, when you came to Canada, what were some of your first impressions and why did you want to come to the country?
I come to the country because we have war in Ukraine, so I come 2022, July, first government airplane. And of course, I looking for a job. I have Master of Business Administration in Ukraine. I have experience in radio station sales, and I apply actually for Roku Radio, for Harvard Media, but not successful. And also I applied for Regina Open Door Society Career Bridging Program, and it helps. And I find first my job in Regina. It was City of Regina, casual position. I still work on City of Regina as a casual. It's cashier, so it's like entry-level position, but my experience is sales and marketing.
And so, I think that's a common thread with us here is just kind of trying to find the place and find a spot where we're comfortable, where we've worked in the past. And sometimes it can be difficult. Busayo, for you, what brought you to Regina? And what are some of your experiences with coming to the city?
Thank you, Adam. I'm 2 years, 1 day old in Canada. Yesterday, I clocked 2 years.
Congratulations.
So, thank you very much. Yeah. So my wife came in as a student. So after a year, I decided to join her to support her in Canada. So it has been good all the way. Yes, we hear this everywhere that it's difficult to get a job. I can't shy away from that. It might be difficult to get a job, but you have to be strategic about job search. One of the mistakes I made when I came in, I was jobless for like 6 months. So this experience really helped me to guide my clients as an employment counselor now. So if you are in Canada and you are as a newcomer, the first thing you need to do is to consult. Once she did a very good work by coming straight to Regina Open Door. I didn't know about anything Regina Open Door Society. I didn't know about any of their services. After I heard about their program, I decided to put in for the career bridging program. I think I applied like 3 times or so because of the number of people coming in. So the competition is actually high. We have a lot of new immigrants. With my background in human resource management, focusing on learning and development, organizational development, and all the functions of HR, I was a manager back home, working in an oil and gas company. So I believe getting to Canada, I'm going to get a job immediately. So I started applying for the big jobs as a big boy. However, I didn't get one in 6 months. I got a couple of interviews, but I was not successful. So I wanted to know what was responsible for not being successful in all these interviews. I can remember vividly, I applied for a role, Director of Learning and Development in an organization. Can you imagine a newcomer applying for directorship role? And many of newcomers are also making this kind of errors. So you must have a working strategy that is going to help you to navigate through this process. However, while trying to get a job, I came across Regina Open Door Society, and that has been the saving grace for me. I learned a lot of things. I unlearned things that I have learned back home. I have PhD in human resource management, so I believe I know everything. So I had to go for interview with huge confidence, without anything coming out of such interviews. So joining the program, I learned a lot of stuff that changed the narrative. Now I'm fully employed. I've been changing jobs. My first job was with REUS, Regina Exhibition Association, as a security and parking attendant. Can you imagine a bank manager, a HR manager back home?
Yeah.
I was in the stadium passing traffic because of what? I want to get into the culture of work here in Canada. So many of our clients or many newcomers, let me put it that way, they don't want to go down. So that reason why I said you must have a strategy to break into the labor markets.
And now you're helping people,
I'm
learn
really
from the
enjoying
mistakes that you maybe made at the start.
Yep. I'm really enjoying what I'm doing. I was privileged to be posted to that same organization, Regina Open Door Society, for my experiential learning opportunity. I think I worked for them for like 3 months as a job developer. So I was exposed to a lot of things here in Regina. I have contact with employers, and we have programs that are well designed to support our clients. We have a lot of programs well designed to support our clients. So one of the things newcomers need to do first is networking, connecting with the right people, getting the right information, which I believe CBC is here to help newcomers to gather necessary information when they come in. It's going to make it a lot of, it's going to make it very easy for them.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping to do today. Tanya, with your experience, it's a little bit different because you were in Vancouver and then came to the city here. What's been your experience transitioning into the city of Regina?
Well, if I need to say that, like from the Vancouver, a bigger city, I mean, you have more struggle, and getting into the community access is real struggle. So immediately after passing some months in Vancouver, I talked with some of my friends here in Regina, and they talked about the friendly and vibrant environment in a small city compared to the bigger city. So they encouraged me to come over here. And of course, the living cost is another parameters to come over here, the house rent and other things. So then I actually decided to shift here in the University of Regina after passing some, months in Vancouver. To me, it's. I mean, I'm only 4 months here in Regina, so the struggles. To me, it's the learning process, of course, whatever he was mentioning, and to me, the networking and meeting the right peoples is the key. So what I did, I actually run through with my university career path and meet with peoples and trying to know about who are the sectoral leaders, because I do have some sort of mid-level skill set back in my country, and I am confident about my skill set. But however, when I realized that no matter how confident I am, how much effort I'm providing to prepare my resume, it doesn't work in that way here in Canada. So I'm start pursuing the guidance from the sectoral leaders and the other peoples, whoever is there, whoever is successful. So yeah, that's the way. And I'm here with family. So the upbringing of ours back in country and the family support, and you have affordable household services. So all the things, and whenever you come to Canada, you are doing all things all alone, and that's also a struggle for a new immigrant. Whenever you don't have the support system, friends and family to support with children, and you are still looking for jobs, making connections, that's all the hardships you are going through, and you are not getting response from the employer, no matter what effort you are putting. So yeah.
OJ, you've been listening to our guests here discuss their experiences. Is some of this hitting home with you? Are you nodding your head and saying this sounds familiar? And what can you offer as far as your experience with coming to a smaller community in Estevan versus the city of Regina and dealing with setting up a life there?
It is. Yeah, like you said, I keep nodding my head because I am a newcomer myself. I've only been here in Canada for well over a year. In my case, I think I got it easy, but since taking on this position as a settlement advisor, I came across a lot of people who struggled being a newcomer here, even in a smaller area like Estevan. So I believe there is, obviously there is room for improvement. The current Prime Minister's government, I know, prioritized immigration as a tool for economic growth and increasing targets for labor shortages. So I believe that, some people exploited the immigration system. That's why there are, challenges that we're facing right now. In terms of like credential recognition, I think I can also relate to that because I am a licensed nurse back in my country. I work in different jobs and I have a different position here. So I think what we need to do is I recommend to employers to look beyond Canadian experience and be flexible and focus on skills and potential.
I wanted to ask Alina about changes that make immigrating to Canada a bit more difficult. it seems like there is some sentiment out there, the people that are new to Canada, that there needs to be a few maybe tweaks or changes because of things like housing. You guys have all spoken about your credentials or your background not being recognized right away, or having trouble finding housing, having trouble settling. What can we do to help those that are coming, and when more people are coming or others are coming to the province, to make it easier for them to get a job, to find housing?
First of all, I'm very thankful Canadian government. The government provide a lot of programs for immigrants. For example, Regina Open Door Society employment program, but also I'm personally attend Toastmaster program. Attend first aid certificate program. It actually helps me when I start work for City of Regina. They requiring this certificate. And what else? So I applied for every program that I can. Regina Open Door Society, and because you don't have job. You need to improve your skills, English skills, right? It's free program, free of cost for immigrants. So I start with this. And we have a couple of employment program, this career bridging program and Sask Polytech. It's why I attend next time Sask Polytech career enhancement program, because I still looking for permanent position. And it's why I apply, and they have some differences. I recommended Sask Polytech also everybody, because they have more focus of digital skills. They have coaching, they have provide informational interview with company. It's opportunity to open every door in every company for informational interview and have connections. Networking is very important in Canada. Have personal networking in your specific area, right? Where you have diploma, where you want to work. So if they not hire you right now, but you still have connections, not only people have resume, you have personal communication and memories, and you can still communicate. Maybe not now available any position, but in 1 month, in 3 months, in 6 months, you can send greeting cards with Merry Christmas, Happy Easter, and
you're saying it's a constant upkeep of your contact list, of checking in with people, of reminding people who you are, and also building up your own skills so you're more employable, or you're more attractive than just on the paper.
Yeah, because when we come here, we are zero paper, right? So nobody knows us, and everybody wants reference from Canada. So when we start any kind of programs, we have networking like colleagues, immigrants. Also, when we during employment program to knock any company for informational interview, we start new networking with employers, and so it will be helps early or later, because we are like alive. We need humans connections, and if we will be communicate and build this good human resources luggage.
Yes, you're filling up your cup to try and give yourself as best a chance to be employed or find the career you want.
Yeah, and volunteering also very important. I take part volunteering Sask galleries. Sask gallery recommend me as volunteer for some Christmas market, green market before Christmas, and I volunteering in City of Regina 2 months.
You're busy. Is what you're telling me is you're very busy. I don't know when you sleep, but I'm trying to. I couldn't even keep a list of all this. Basayo, you've heard from some of our fellow panelists today, and you talked about some mistakes you made or things that you didn't know when you came to Regina, to Canada, but now you're helping people navigate through those changes. Sure. What's one of the main things that you hear from people when they come here, they come into your office, they come talk to you about something? What's a common question or concern they have when they're coming to you for your service?
Okay, I think two things. First, most of them believes there is no job in Canada, and accommodation issue, which you raised earlier, is very expensive. So I think That two area, government needs to look into that. People are still coming in on a daily basis. People are coming in. One thing that I don't usually support is that there is no job. There are jobs, but it is competitive because of the number of people coming in, but we can get more jobs. However, if you're coming in into a new system like this, you don't have to expect that you will maintain the same status that you are coming way back from back home. You have to be willing and ready to adjust. Learn something new. So we have a lot of programs designed at Regina Open Door Society to help people from different backgrounds, different stages. One of the programs is even settlement online pre-arrival. You know about the system before you arrive. You have the necessary information about the environment where you are going to. Then your willingness to start small. Starting small doesn't mean you are going to end small. I was waiting, to get a generalist role as human resource manager or whatever. However, I started with security parking attendants. From there, I did, customer service representative with HGS. I was there before I joined the career bridging fully. I worked with Regina Open Door Society as employment counselor. I moved from there to Government of Saskatchewan as HR payroll administrator, now with Regina Open Door as employment counselor. And there is no job. What I did, I break the functions of HR into smaller, the strategy I was talking about. So I pick a function. While waiting for the main HR generalist, I pick a function of the HR, which is career planning, and I focused on that. I started working towards that. I get certified as employment counselor. I'm a member of Canadian Career Professional of Canada. So all these little things helps. So you have to start small. Some people will start big. So the fingers are not equal, right? So we start and you keep moving. So can I quickly say this? We have a lot of programs for new immigrants into Canada that can really help them. She mentioned she's a product of our program, Career Bridging Program. I was also a product of that program. Just imagine, I was trained there and I'm still working there now. But not everybody that trained under them that will be privileged enough to keep working in that organization. However, we have programs that will expose you to culture of works here in Canada. The Career Bridging Program is there. It's a fantastic program. We have the E4E, which is English for Employment. We have the first aid training, a lot of job readiness workshops that will help new immigrants into Regina to actually achieve their goal. You must have this goal and be ready to make sure that you can divide your goal into smaller units for you to be able to run with the vision. Few months back, I was in Nigeria. I was privileged to meet some set of people that are planning to relocate. So they've been hearing the news, hey, there's no job in Canada. Yeah. Don't go to Canada. Say, you know what? We have jobs in Canada. But you have to be strategic about job finding. You have PhD. You cannot just come in and start teaching in the university. Mm-hmm. Do you know that was my plan?
Yeah.
Back home, I was, when I got to Canada, I got a job at University of Regina. I started working as a lecturer in the Department of this. But I have to re-strategize. I need to learn. We're still learning on a daily basis. And I know that's going to help us real good. So my advice, or I should still keep my thought on advising people for now.
Yeah, we'll go get back to you in a second, Basiah. You have a fascinating story, of course. And Tanya, something we haven't touched on, and you did mention in your earlier comments about affordability. And a lot of people are attracted to Saskatchewan because of affordability. And we want to, if anyone has any thoughts, if they're a recent immigrant and want to share their experience, you can call us, 1-800-716-2221, or email bluesky@cbc.ca. We'd love to hear from you. Tanya, when it comes to finding housing, and you mentioned the difference between Vancouver and Regina, and people that are here will know that. But when you came to Canada, were you aware or did you find out later about the differences between different communities as far as the affordability?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in Vancouver, we are four members. I have two kids. So whenever I was in Vancouver, I rented one apartment, and that was a real struggle to rent that apartment from back home, communicating with them. So that's another story. And whenever I communicate in Regina to rent a apartment, that was eventually challenging for me, although I was in Canada already, because people's are, whenever you are looking for the apartment, the owners or the apartment housing society is looking for your consistent paycheck. And that was the real struggle, because I don't have that check to prove my financial things. So then they were not willing to give me the apartment. So then I actually looking for who can tell them that, well, I am, although I'm a student, but I do have money and I can pay up front, because that's fine with me. So I was daring to have an apartment. So I actually accessed my community people. So I requested them to go there and talk with them since I was not here. So they did that, and they assured them that, well, they can pay you.
That you will pay, yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, you can come to us. So, yeah, that's the way I was finding the apartment. But, yeah, the rent difference is really, really huge. So, in Vancouver and the here in Regina, it's like almost double in Vancouver whenever you are comparing these two sizes apartments. So, that was one thing. And also, although here in Vancouver, the transportation is not that much feasible, where Vancouver, you can easily get access to the public transportations. Here, the public transportation, for a girl, eventually a bit difficult. You cannot walk much to get a public transportation. So, yeah, but the other costs, like the food and other things, I find pretty similar. It's eventually, I found that little bit higher here.
Okay.
So, yeah. So when I ask people why it is higher here, because in Vancouver it is lower, and then they say it because they have the transportation cost increase when they brought from Vancouver or Toronto. So yeah, so that's my experience.
It's the landlocked prairie province that we have.
Yeah.
OJ, you've been listening and you've been patient here. We were talking about quite a bit with everyone of working outside of your field, and you mentioned that with your experience being a nurse in Philippines and then working in a different field now. Was that something that was a choice of yours? Because I know speaking here with hearing from our guests and hearing from a lot of newcomers, as Basayo had said, I was going to come here and work in my field or be right at the same level as where I was, where I came from. What's your experience with that?
Well, working, I believe it's a choice at first. I still plan to, continue to work as a nurse, but I know it's a complicated and long process. But for others, I believe it's a matter of having no choice. They come here, they can find work, so they take the next job available. So I think that's what happens when people come here. Actually came here, a fast food chain brought me here. I got hired as a supervisor there, and then I switched jobs just because I think that's what happens normally is you just go to whatever wherever life takes you. um, but I do want to second the first lady who mentioned about connections. I agree with that. It's a matter of making connections. I think that's important. Here at Southeast Advocate, we actually is going to pilot a program called Community Connect, wherein we, have newcomers attend these sessions and invite people who have been here for a few years and introduce them, just, share stories and build their confidence as well. Because I know that one of the challenges that newcomers face is, language barrier and communication.
And OJ, I was tipped off that you're a basketball guy, and I'm a basketball guy as well. And we're talking about making connections here. As far as, fitting into the community or finding that thing or creating something that's going to create community or create connections, as Alina said, is that something you'd encourage people in your position to do? Is to, we mentioned volunteering, being out in the public, working where you're going to meet with a lot of people and be able to introduce yourself to a lot of people. What would you say about that?
Definitely, yes. Yeah, I've mentioned that when I was starting, I used to do volunteers as well. My sister was part of an organization called Esteban Basketballers Organization. It's a local organization wherein they facilitate sports events like basketball, volleyball. So I recommend to newcomers to volunteer, get involved in the community events as much as possible, because that's where you get to meet people. And the more connections that you have, the more information you get, the more resources you get.
Speaking of connections, we talked about coming from Ukraine and the war there, and Saskatchewan has a long history with Ukrainian settlers and a huge Ukrainian community here. How did that help, or did it help? Maybe I'm making an assumption, but did it help with coming here, feeling comfortable, and meeting people?
We have Ukrainian Congress. They organize any kind of events for every reason, and I think my government airplane. It's probably because of Ukrainian Congress. I think they work together with government. So we have 5 government airplanes.
Yeah, they came over in a number of different months.
And after every government airplanes landed, we have some meeting and all services it was very helpful because
I covered one of those. It was at the downtown Ramada.
Yes.
And you had, the Crown Corporations there. They had the SGI there.
Yeah,
and
so they
could
help.
one-stop shopping with.
Yeah, they help us with Sasktel the phone first, with SIN number, with bank account open. So these services all together, and it's very helpful. And also was a couple career job fair.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe it's not very successful, but anyway, it was first step, second step, third step. So we share our resume. We have some networking. So it's altogether good to works like Regina Open Door Society, Ukrainian Congress, these services. So altogether, if you keep going, not give up and apply for everything.
Yes, and we've gone over I think you're doing I see a lot of nodding in the room too, when you're talking about making those connections and trying to develop a community in Basayo. I'm wondering, have you found that in Regina you were able to connect with people, from your country, or people that had similar interests with you, or was that something that was an adjustment? How did that go when you came to the city?
Yeah, that's a very good one, because connection is very essential when you're looking for something. Probably what I'm looking for is in your hand. So if I'm not connected, if there is no connection between us, there's no how I'm going to get it. I used to have a client, and this guy came to me. He knew what he wanted. He said, I want to work in that organization. And I asked him a question. Who do you know in that organization? He said, nobody. I said, go and make friends there. Study about that organization. Make friends. And he said, oh, how am I going to make friends? I said, oh, you have access to their link. You can go to LinkedIn, connect with people, and we started the journey together. He went on LinkedIn. He sent requests to 2 guys in that organization. And that really works for him. 3 days later, he called me and said, hey, you know what? This guy called me. They asked me if I can come for a coffee with them. I said, oh, good. Then go for the coffee. Don't discuss about job. Make it professional. Don't discuss about you working with them. Share your profile with them. Let them know who you are, what you've done in the past. And the relationship started that way. And I know that something good is coming out of that relationship. Yeah, coming back to Nigeria community, we have a very big community here. And most of us, we are very religious somehow. Is it that you connect in church? You connect in mosque. So I use my church connection. It works for me. Anywhere, you can find your people that understand. There are some people that have been here 10 years. They'll be able to share experience. They'll be able to tell you what to do. So if you want to go far, you need people, good people anyway, to go with you. You need people that have passed through that same road that can show you that, hey, this is the way. Don't go left, go straight, just keep going this direction. So I use church contacts. I use my community contacts, and it really works. Some people might turn you off, say, hey, I don't know anybody, I can do this. And some will show you love. So you need to keep connecting with people. This guy mentioned basketball. I love basketball. Whenever I go to stadium, I find time. I use that time that that I'm free. I was jobless for 6 months. I use it very well. I will go to stadium with my resume in my hands. Anybody I meet say, hey, how you doing there? This what? It was funny.
Great pass.
You know what?
I'm showing my resume.
I was just connected with everybody, both black, white, green, anybody. I want to be everybody's friend. And it works for me. The guy that gave me the contact that said, hey, have you been to Regina Open Door? I met him in the stadium. And the funniest thing, I've been passing in front of Regina Open Door almost every day. I don't know what it stands for. So this guy just, hey, I think you need to go to Regina Open Door Society. They will help you. They gave someone I know a job. I said, oh, really? Let me go there. And when I go there, they say, hey, you know what? We don't have a job, but we're going to make it to become job ready. I said, oh, let's see how it goes. And they made me job ready, and we are making a lot of people job ready.
And now you're there, full circle. It's what they call full circle moment. I think listening to you guys and hearing our conversation, it's dawned on me that a lot of this advice is applicable to everyone. This isn't just applicable to newcomers. Make connections, get involved in your community, introduce yourself to people, share your profile, all these things that you're saying, improve your training, volunteer. These are things that any of our listeners, newcomers or not, are going to take away something from. And I think that's really valuable advice. We've talked about different barriers and things like what's stopped you or struggles you've had, right? We know that statistically, people will come to Saskatchewan from other provinces or from other countries, but the rates here aren't great for keeping newcomers. There's a lot of reasons for that probably. Some of it maybe people might just be more attracted to going to a bigger city. There could be a community from their country that they want to go to. Family and friends have settled in, let's say Toronto, Vancouver, Calgary. Tanya, what do you think will keep people in the province? And I'm interested in your perspective because you came here from another one.
Yeah. So to me, I'll be finishing my graduations this year. So still, I'm thinking whether I will be living here. So what will keep me here? That's the way I can answer these things. Like, say for an example, after graduations, I will look forward to see me probably in the public sector or in the non-profit sector. So definitely the job is a higher ingredient to stay. But here, I also think like for the children I have, they have less. I mean, I don't explore many things yet, but to me, it's the struggle and the financial things are involved when you are entertaining your children. Either you go with them with the shopping or buying the toys or food, or otherwise the trampoline park or so on. But everything is associated with cost. So the cost is real struggle for the immigrant. I'm pretty sure with the children who is shifting here. So and the weather is also to me ingredient, because whenever you don't have the public service access, public transportations, if you don't have the transportations, personal transportations, that's another struggle. So if Regina or Saskatchewan's built, transportations better, that probably make people to keep here better. And in Vancouver, what I find, all the cities are adjacent. But here, if you want to go to Saskatchewan, you have to drive 3 hours. So that's another thing. Like the cities are separated, so you don't feel that you are in a bigger areas. You feel that you are in a very tiny, small city. So that's another things I found after coming here.
And Alina, what would you say to that as far as keeping people that have moved to the province and chosen to come here? What's going to make them want to stay?
Maybe employ just mentality, more open mind for immigrants, because this program is good. It's a lot of immigrants, but when I go for employee, job interview or any connections, it's not so. For example, Sask Career Enhancement Program, Sask Polytech is very good, but now during the last 2 years change government rules, and first it was provided work placement. And now, because it needs to pay because of government, so not free work placement now. So we have a lot of unionized, like Sask Energy, Sask Power, City of Regina, provincial government. They need to pay if they want to take somebody for work placement, and they can't pay because they have unionized rules. So they need to take first their employee. It's the big gap now and problems for immigrants. And I was in Sask Power, in Sask Energy job interview without any program. They don't hire me. So this also, I think it's on the employee level. I don't know, maybe some community program to connect, because
you're saying there's some barricades and some barriers there at the moment. Besides, we only have a couple minutes left, but what are your thoughts as far as keeping people here in the province?
Okay, like what she said, I think government should be more involved in this process, create more jobs, work with all these career bridging programs, like she said, for the placement, job placement, that really helps people. We're talking about you having Canadian experience. So how are you going to get the experience if you don't get a job? So they should create more jobs, like the career bridging program, the placement, if government organization ministries can be involved, receive people from different organizations that are running this kind of program. That is another thing. And she mentioned about accommodation. I want to tell you that has become a very big issue in our community now. I have a lot of clients that are struggling regarding accommodation. Regina Housing Authority, they do support people, but the process is a bit slow now. Some of my clients have been on the wait list for Very long time. That program is a very good one. If they can just build more houses, support people more, and even if it's going to be that first 1 year, it helps a lot. So all those things, they just need to look into it, change the policy that surrounds all those things. And for the new immigrant also, they should be willing and ready to adjust a bit to the system, not to be rigid. Make use of available resources. Like I said earlier, we have a lot of resources. Our mission is to make every immigrant, every newcomer to become job ready. When you're job ready, you can confidently go for interview and you know that, I'm not going there to fumble. I'm going to say, you know what to say. You have a good resume. You have a good value proposition for yourself, because without that, you're not going anywhere. And how are you going to get to know all these things if you are not taught? You need to come to where you are going to get such information. Thank you.
And OJ, just want to end with you quickly. What do you see as far as maybe one point to help people settle and stay?
I believe that if the province focused on providing affordable housing, I think that's that's the priority we need to make. It's gonna, because I've met people who were living in Ontario, Nova Scotia, and they're paying the same amount of money. Let's say they're staying in a 1-bedroom apartment in Nova Scotia, and here they're paying the same amount of money for a 2-bedroom house, 2-bedroom apartment. I think that's one of the reasons people are also moving from Ontario to Saskatchewan. So I think the province could build on that, provide affordable housing, and also staying in a community like Estevan also has a very good sense of a community and people know each other. They can support each other, not just newcomers, but Canadians as well. I believe that smaller communities are a good place for families to live in.
Thanks so much, OJ. OJ Javier, Tanya Jahan, Basayo Ulufayo, and Alina Shailan were our guests today on Blue Sky. Thanks so much to all of you for coming in and joining us. That was awesome. Lee Sugarbinsky will be back from 12 to 1. Tomorrow is who owns Saskatchewan farmland and why does it matter? That's tomorrow from 12 to 1. Have a great day.